The 1990s was truly an unquestionable golden age for Marvel animation. Throughout the decade, the company, in partnership with Fox Kids, created many popular and iconic animated shows, bringing their vast array of characters to life and allowing whole generations of fans to fall in love with the Marvel Universe. Beginning with 1992's X-Men the Animated Series, Marvel, Fox and Saban Entertainment produced 8 animated shows throughout the decade that showcased their most well-known and popular characters. However, in this all-star lineup of now beloved heroes, there is one show that often goes overlooked and ignored by fans, that being the 1999 series, Avengers United They Stand. Produced as the final show in this era of Marvel animation, United They Stand only ran for one 13-episode season and reimagined Earth's mightiest heroes as a futuristic superhero team with a roster far removed from the pop culture titans you expect from the team today. As such, it's a series that has largely fallen into obscurity in the years since it was first brought to screen, and in this video I want to go back and re-examine Avengers United They Stand, explain the history of how the show came to be and its place within the Marvel animated universe at the time, as well as try to understand just what went wrong behind the scenes and why the show failed to deliver on its exciting premise, and how it ultimately became Marvel's forgotten animated series. Before we continue though, just a quick reminder to leave a like on this video if you enjoy it, and subscribe to Owen Likes Comics so you don't miss out on any future videos. In 1996, Marvel's animated TV series had become a staple of children's television, particularly on Fox Kids, whose regular lineup consisted of 5 unique Marvel shows, including the massively popular X-Men and Spider-Man animated series. With the huge success of these initial 5 shows, Fox's supervising executive of animated series, Roland Poindexter, approached 2 of the writers behind X-Men the Animated Series, Robert Skir and Marty Eisenberg, to begin pitching ideas for a brand new show, this one focused around the Avengers. Now, given that Marvel and Fox had already brought to life the likes of Spider-Man, the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk, with a Silver Surfer show already in development, it made tremendous sense that Earth's mightiest heroes would be next, especially given that many of the team's members had already made appearances in the other existing shows. As such, Skir and Eisenberg produced an outline for a 13-episode season that was pitched to Fox's executives. Once Fox had approved their Avengers pitch though, production on this show was halted for an entire year as a result of Marvel Comics' ongoing bankruptcy problems, with pre-production eventually beginning in 1998. This delay had a number of significant side effects on the show's development. Notably, although Saban Entertainment had been brought in to animate the show, the initial writers had moved on to other projects, and as a result, Eric and Julia Lewald, 2 of the key creative figures behind X-Men the Animated Series, took over as the new screenwriters, adapting the initial draft into what would become United They Stand. However, as soon as production got underway, issues behind the scenes began to arise, namely due to complications over licensing issues with Captain America, Iron Man and Thor. It was decided that the trio would not be key characters in this show, with only the first 2 of these heroes even making cameo appearances in individual episodes. This meant that despite the fact the Avengers had already appeared in the Fantastic Four series, this new show would have a completely unique lineup. While this may not have been ideal for those producing the show, the writers did attempt to use these constraints as a way to spotlight lesser known members of the team, with Eric Lewald stating that "We want this to be a team of Avengers, instead of making it Captain America in the Avengers or Thor in the Avengers. We prefer to have a balanced team of superheroes rather than a superstar on the team," with the eventual team that we would follow in United They Stand closely resembling the West Coast Avengers from the mid-1980s. Another notable creative decision that arose during the show's production was its time setting, as United They Stand was surprisingly set some 25 years in the future. Now, it's worth noting that because of its delayed development, this show was being produced alongside Spider-Man Unlimited, and both of these shows seem to share this futuristic setting, likely a result of Marvel and Fox seeking to compete with Warner Bros.' recently premiering Batman Beyond animated show. While somewhat unexpected, this futuristic time period enabled the writers to explore aspects of the Marvel animated universe that we hadn't seen previously, as well as giving them the ability to craft a more unique backdrop for the Avengers to fight in, with producer Ron Myrick claiming that the show's primary location, New York City, will be a mix of future and contemporary looks, sort of the way the city looked in the movie Blade Runner, but not as dark. With both the new lineup and the world of this show now created, it was now time for Earth's Mightiest Heroes to emerge, and on the 30th of October 1999, United They Stand premiered on Fox Kids, and the Avengers finally made their way to the small screen. The initial 13-episode season of United They Stand attempted to expand the lore of the traditional Avengers team, introducing viewers to a new band of heroes who have taken over from the likes of Captain America and Iron Man in the near future. This team, led by Hank Pym aka Ant-Man, consisted of him and his wife Wasp, alongside the likes of Falcon, Wonder Man, Tigra and Vision, as well as Hawkeye and the Scarlet Witch, who had both previously appeared in the Iron Man animated series. The season began with a two-part episode entitled Avengers Assemble, which saw this new team face off against the villainous robot Ultron, who creates the Vision and sends him to kill the Avengers, in an attempt to get revenge on his own creator, Hank Pym. As such, Vision attacks the Avengers mansion, and his actions put Wonder Man into a coma, before the heroes are able to reprogram the android, and he ultimately chooses to join the fight against his creator, and becoming a full-fledged member of the Avengers. In addition to Ultron's appearances in the two-part premiere, the series would introduce a number of notable Avengers foes, such as Baron Zemo, the Grim Reaper, the Masters of Evil, and Kang the Conqueror, as well as various supporting characters such as Agatha Harkness and Namor the Submariner. To me, one of the most interesting and noteworthy episodes, though, is Command Decision, which first aired on the 11th of December 1999. This episode sees the Avengers team up with Captain America to face off against the Masters of Evil, and honestly, it does a decent job of establishing the lore of this new Avengers team, with Cap returning as the former leader, which in turn causes Ant-Man to question his own place in the group. Likewise, the episode Shooting Stars, which first aired on the 22nd of January 2000, involves the Avengers facing off against an evil organisation known as the Zodiac, who they discover are attempting to blast satellites out of orbit and create chaos around the world. As the heroes prepare to head into outer space to stop the Zodiac, they enlist the help of Iron Man, as the founding Avenger teams up with this new team to save the day. Despite the appearances of these two iconic characters though, there was notably less buzz towards United They Stand than many of the previous Marvel animated shows. Not only did the series garner notably lesser viewers than its contemporary shows, but the response to it was often quite negative, with many criticising not only the team's weaker roster of Avengers, but also their characteristics, with many coming across as unlikable and not compelling, in comparison to their comic book counterparts. This mixed response to the show compounded with Fox Kids undergoing major programming changes in the new millennium as a result of several high-profile failures, and the massive success of Kids WB's Pokemon series saw the show only last for one season, and by the time its 13-episode arc had concluded on the 26th of February 2000, the writing was on the wall for Earth's Mightiest Heroes. The Avengers would unite no more. In a somewhat ironic turn of events, it was the person who pushed for an Avengers series to be brought to the network that ultimately cancelled United They Stand. You see, in February 1999, Fox promoted Roland Poindexter to the role of Vice President of Programming, and upon his promotion, he began to make a number of notable changes to Fox Kids' lineup. You see, by 1999, Several high-performing shows such as X-Men and Spider-Man had come to an end, and their successors Avengers and Spider-Man Unlimited had been failing to resonate with audiences. The massive success of Pokemon, which was airing on one of their biggest competitors' networks, was also a driving factor in these changes, as Poindexter ultimately cancelled a number of low-performing shows in an attempt to revamp the channel and win back the viewers that they had lost since Pokemon premiered. Unfortunately, due to its poor reception and diminishing viewing figures, Avengers United They Stand was deemed expendable by the company, and the show came to an end following the conclusion of its first and only season. While I don't think anyone at Fox or Marvel necessarily expected Avengers to succeed at the same level as Spider-Man or the X-Men, given its troubled production and the fact that other Marvel shows had begun to diminish in viewers by this time, it is hard to argue that United They Stand was anything other than an unfortunate failure. That said, despite the lackluster first season, those behind the scenes were hard at work in developing a more intriguing second season, with plans to include more well-known characters such as Thor, the X-Men and the Incredible Hulk, more iconic villains, namely Loki, as well as exploring the backstories of different members of the Avengers team, with a particular focus being placed on Hawkeye and the Scarlet Witch. These plans sadly never came to fruition though, and as such, the show faded away into obscurity, and with it, the once beloved and industry-leading Marvel animated universe was also laid to rest. Overall though, while I don't think that Avengers United They Stand is necessarily terrible, it's hardly at the level an Avengers show deserves to be. The notion of an Avengers cartoon in the same vein as the other Marvel animated series from this time would have virtually any comic book fan excited, but the show we eventually got was so void of the things that made these other shows so popular in the first place. While there were many constraints and problems behind the scenes that hampered this show's production, the series ultimately just fails to resonate and grip its viewers, with few characters feeling truly compelling and relatable. The worst thing any form of media can be is boring, and while I think there are plenty of good and bad parts to United They Stand, it's overall just far less entertaining than the shows that came before it. More than anything, Avengers feels like a missed opportunity, a show that could have been so great and could have made Earth's mightiest heroes a household name almost 20 years before they were brought to the big screen, but in execution, it did very little to showcase what it is that makes these characters so beloved. Not only that, but given this show was the last series produced as part of the Marvel animated universe, something that had captured the imagination of so many young viewers and made them fall in love with comic books and superheroes, this series did little to truly send off what had been a beloved and iconic series of shows. And as such, it's clear to me that everyone from the Avengers, the Marvel animated universe, the fans who had eagerly anticipated their favourite heroes being brought to the small screen, and the people behind the scenes who desperately wanted to bring these stories to life, ultimately deserved so much better than Avengers United They Stand. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a like on the video and leave a comment down below as well. Let me know your thoughts on everything we talked about in today's video. I can't wait to hear what you have to say as always. If you're new to Owen Likes Comics, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notify bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you enjoyed this video and you want some more, there should be some others on screen right now that you might also enjoy. If you want to help support the channel and help me make more videos, you can do so at patreon.com/OwenLikesComics. And if you want to hear more from what I have to say, you can follow me on Twitter just at OwenLikesComics. Again, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I will see you next time. So until then, take care and keep reading.